Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome to another video. My name is Reynaldo, and you guys can call me Reynamations. Today we'll be doing a quick animation, and no, this is not edited. I do not edit any of my videos. Some I guess. But we'll be working on Blender Grease Pencil. Let's zoom in. Some tools that you obviously would be needing is get the Grease Pencil tool add-on, and that will come in handy a lot. Now this is something I did really quickly yesterday and the day before. I drew a tree just because I wanted to draw something in Blender, and I started off with this. Let me hide it. The squirrel. Okay, and then I go onto draw mode because that's not gonna be visible. Okay, so I started off by drawing this little tree, and then zooming out, and eventually getting this really nice textures and a nice technique with it. Obviously did it with a blank like a white background, and what we're gonna be doing today is obviously animating the squirrel going from this little stump out and up here. Like if this little area right here it was like a little hole where the squirrel comes in, it gets in and gets out, like this little house or something. Anyways, there's also gonna be this, and just doing it like that looks like really nice. And there's also gonna be grass in the background, and it looks like that. Now I already animated the camera, so the camera is just gonna go up, and the grass, you may notice it moves. That's a really simple technique. You just go into the layer where I draw the grass, and the grass was done with import this brushes again so you guys can see. Well, I was done with one of the brushes right there. If anything, I would reset them, but then I don't want to do that all over again. So anyways, so it was quickly done just by using one of the textured brushes from the downloaded pack, and then going onto here. I think it was Tuba. Where is it? Oh, that makes sense. I'm in draw mode for a different object. So I go into grass, and then on the tool, like the wrench, which is like a modifier, let me go on to this one so you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about. Sorry, right here. So you click on this one, and then right afterwards you could adjust it, and then it will automatically animate it throughout the frames. So then, as you can see, it kind of like just shuffles it a little. Like that. Now it looks like the grass is being swayed by the wind. And then the camera slowly starts paneling up and outwards. I have it zooming out and then zooming back in. So it zooms out and it's supposed to zoom back in a little. See? Now it's going very slow because I don't have this animation baked or anything like that, and it kind of stops right there. Now the goal is to have the squirrel go from this little hole out and then come up and then come up here. And I have this little view right here for you guys. Now my screen does not look like this, but I have this set up for you guys so then you guys can see all the references I have in the screen right in front of me. And then you guys can see all the little squirrels. Always use references. Last time I did an animation, I did not use many references. I think I only used like one picture for making the dolphin, and that was hard. Alright, anyways, let's get started with the drawing because that's what you guys came here to see. So first things first, to make sure it doesn't get slowed down, there is a lot of grass right here that will never get rendered. So what I'm planning to do is go to edit mode here and make sure that I have a lot of the grass that's not going to be rendered, like all of this right here, and then press, it should be by vertices. I want to delete certain vertices, so something like that, and then press X, points. And then this part right here also the same thing. Now I'm doing this mainly because of the fact that some of this grass won't get rendered, but it does take up space in my in the memory of everything. So and here, what I can do with this one is just scale it on the Y, and then just press G, Y, and move it closer, just a little bit. Now when I go to object mode, click out of it, I make sure I click through it, see, so when I can see the camera move around, at no point is it supposed to be hitting the blue area. Just done the green, just done the green, and the panels up. And I have the camera slightly tilting. Well, not slightly tilting. You also you guys are probably wondering how did I get the grass to look like it's going downwards. And no, I did not animate it. All I did was just draw it on a flat plane, like basically draw it like how I did this tree, and then rotated the plane on its x-axis. So then it gives it so then the scene actually looks more like that. See? Because the camera only captures a certain amount and it's going up this way. You may also notice that there has some shadowy area right there, and it's not really fully patched out, like it's not fully fixed. So what I can do here is to make sure that it all looks flat in the end, I could go to edit mode, right? Another thing, and then just scale this on the Y, and then just move it in. And then just tab, object. So now when I go to 0, it looks like it's slightly lower. But the ground looks flat. And at the end, when the camera stops moving, at no point did it hit the area. And all of this will be the sky. You can actually add clouds and all that sort of stuff to it, but I'm trying to like speed it up. Okay. Anyways, let's get rid of the grass by hiding it, and let's get rid of some of the tree by going onto the tree, and then going onto some of the layers that the tree has, and I'm gonna get rid of all the lines by hiding those also. Now you can see all the coloring, and it looks really really cartoonish to a certain extent because it's like lineless art, but at the same time, because of the linelessness, it looks kind of funny in certain areas. Like if I put the lines You can see how this area looks nice like this with the lines, and so does this. But without the lines, it just looks funky. Okay, so I'm gonna get rid of hide all the lines. Go back to the first frame. Now I mainly do all the hiding of stuff because of the fact that it's gonna speed up the brush and the rendering. Well, not the rendering at the moment. It's just the speed that I can animate at. Because usually, if you have a lot of vertices and stuff like that, eventually your computer starts slowing down. So I could have as easily just exported this as a plane, but I wanted to do it everything with grease pencil to see what the limitations are. So far, the only limitations I found is that. But let's get back into it. Go to the squirrel, unhide it. Now you can see the blue indicates the area where the housing is gonna be. You can pretend that that's where he's living at. This is the height of the squirrel, the face turnaround, and the path. And the lines indicate how spaced off the keyframes are gonna be. I did this all yesterday, and let's get started. First things first, I'm gonna go into Sketch, make sure I have a brush uh, that's meant for sketching. So if it loads, almost looks like it froze. Hopefully it didn't. And then I go into draw mode. I press on the up one, on the higher up one right here. But you can always just press Control Tab, I think it was. For me, it's just Tab because I have it set up that way, and I could just switch back and forth. So I'm gonna go into draw mode. Make sure I got the sketching tool, and let me sketch out the rough keyframes. So I want a keyframe where he's kind of inside, the squirrel is kind of inside the first frame, and you can barely see it. And then a couple frames back, maybe frame 10 or something like that, kind of starts showing off his face a little. And by frame 13, it's like if his head is going upwards, right? Okay. See, that's one of the downsides with animating like this. It kind of like slows down a lot. I think I'm gonna hide all the areas where, what's it called? Materials, discussion, and there's path. I'm gonna hide this. Or, you know what? I'll turn down the opacity on it. And I want to do the same thing with the tree, because right now the tree seems to be pretty powerful, overpowering. Object mode, click on the tree, and where the fill is, or you know what, you can even go, yeah, on the fill, I'm gonna turn down the opacity just a little bit, below, like that. And go back to the regular sketch that I was doing, and back on it, right? Oh, I'm in the wrong layer. Okay. Couple more frames. His head is gonna be tilting downwards. If it decides to draw it, yeah. See, I'm just kind of slowing down on me. Maybe it's probably because I'm recording also. And let's take a look at some of the poses that I have right here. I like the little squirrel with his mouth open. And his eye is gonna be like right there. Face is gonna be a little bit wider than this. I like that. And then this will be where the body is at. Kind of like how I have this silhouette right here. Now this is supposed to be very rough, so I'm gonna have to speed it up a little. I wish I could make this part of time lapse for you guys out there. I don't like editing. Maybe I will make it into a time lapse. Very nice music moment where we just listen to music. I think the radius of the brush is kind of big, so I'll probably like make it a lot smaller than this. Here I think I'm gonna have part of this house sticking out. And here will be a halfway view between both of them. So it'll be kind of like that. And then the tail will be getting closer like that. So let's take a look at the animation so far. Looks like it's coming out and turns to us. And then around frame 50, I think, and I have him have the squirrel go in for a dive, and then afterwards it's gonna go up. So following kind of like the roughs. I don't like it being so transparent though. Yeah, it's okay, it's a sketch. Maybe it's because I like doing like all the animation at one go. Let's see. Face. Ear. Ear. Body. Now the squirrel's coming along. Let's go slightly a little bit before it. And then this one will be the keyframe in between that and that. So let's draw something. What the heck? It'll be there. That way I can kind of tell. Couldn't tell with that with the opacity so low. And then the tail's gonna be somewhere here. Eyes. Normally you would do all the main poses, so then you do all the timing. see how it's going down already? That's good. Now, to do better timing, I'm gonna do a pose somewhere here. It's already looking like really nice. And probably somewhere there. Have this be somewhere up here. His body there. His tail following along with the path. His head up here. Doesn't look like it's going around it, so I need to like make sure that the drawing looks like it's really in that area. Seems like the tail is slightly off. Can't have the tail be so big though. Okay, that looks a little bit better. Couple more frames forward. And this time, I'm gonna make sure to press shift and panel all the way over here. It's interesting, it's paneling faster than the draws. It looks like it's going up with this here, and this, not like that, like if it was climbing. So if you ever wanted to animate anything climbing, just pretend like you're just moving both. Let's see, this one. Like if you're moving your arms like this, and also your legs in the opposite sense. So if this hand goes down, the leg in this side goes up. Well, no, the leg in this side goes up. So down, and then leg from this side up. Kind of like how I have it right there, and right in this area right here. Down, and then this one up. This one's up, and that one's down. If you ever wanted to draw anything climbing, because if you look at some of the squirrel references, they either have their hands and legs spread out, or they're climbing, but they climb really quickly. Like I'm over here and making like little gestures and stuff, but you guys can't see me. Next frame will be somewhere here. This is the body. Pretend it is a three-dimensional shape, right? And then the tail will be somewhere there. It's a very long tail. It's not curved that much, it has to go in more. And the head should be okay. And by frame 100, it should be up here, the squirrel, and it's gonna be doing kind of like one of those sitting poses. So if we understand the sitting poses, kind of like a little dumpling, and then sparse forward, and then it's gonna be looking towards us a little. And there, and down. And then the tail will be somewhere like this. And then the eyes will be right there. And then by a little bit further down, a little bit different, will be head turning. Since the body's turning with it, the tail will be slightly turned a little bit. And so with the body, the head looks like it's really weird. Now for this one, I feel like it's a little bit too big. So I'm gonna press tab. And then go into edit mode. Press A. And then scale it down just a tiny bit. Halfway, and then press G, and then move it downwards. Then go back to draw mode. For some odd reason, it has keyframes in all of them, which I did not want. So I'll probably have everything else locked, so it doesn't add keyframes to things that I don't really need it to have keyframes on at the moment. So far, this is what we got. It almost looks like if it's shrinking in size. It definitely feels like it's shrunk in size. This big thing compared to that tiny thing. Yeah, so what I'm gonna do is there. I saw this recently. It was draw stroke blank when draw stroke. Alright, so back to the drawing board. Well, back to drawing. And so I found out how to do it. It was, instead of being in draw mode like I was before, I would go onto edit mode. So it will be here, and then I go to edit mode, and then I would go and click on multi-layer select, and I want to edit all of this ones all the way up to here, right? And then press A, and then just Alt S, or just scale them. Now the problem with that is that it seems like all of them are being scaled. Alright, let's just scale this ones first, and then press G, and then place them more accurate. This way I could edit all of them pretty much almost at the same time. And this ones definitely feel like they shrunk. This one and this ones. So scale this one's up. Push G, place them back down. And then this time I'll just select this last two. And then scale this one's up a decent amount. Basically what I'm doing, I'm just going through all of them, pressing A. And just scaling it. And then placing it according to it. Now if we go back and take this multi-layer select out, then I could just press play. See, now it looks a little bit more accurate, except this last two still feel kind of small. So I'm probably going to be working with that, because look, this one, the head looks pretty big, but then this one, this last two right here, which is multi-layer select, and scale those up. Rotate it a little to fit them at the overall scale of everything. Now if I go back to draw mode, you can kind of see the squirrel. It doesn't look like it's changed in size. Perfect. Now it looks like it like stops somewhere over here, but in real life, the footage, it looks like. Let me move it over here. Where's M? Looks more like that. Like the squirrel's not even the biggest selling point for it. It's just a tree. Like if it, like if the squirrel got up here, just stare off at something in the distance. So now we got all the rough drawing, and I'm thinking tomorrow I could do the final line work and everything, because I was planning to head out with my girlfriend to do something today, and spend the night. And sadly, pretty much spent over an hour without realizing, explaining how to do everything, or almost an hour. So anyways, thank you all for joining me. If you did like this, let me know. I'll save all these pictures right here, which is really simple. Either select them all or just go here. This is what's it called? Pure ref. So I'm gonna go to images. I think it was, where is it? Save as. And this is where we could save it as something, whenever it allows me. So under my pure ref, I'm gonna name it other squirrels. Pure ref would like to access files. Okay, yeah. Squirrel. And then I'm gonna save it. Now, if you wanted to do something like that, where you save instead of just the image, instead of the file itself, you wanted to save the images, you could just press export and then scene or all images, and then you could export it as is. Export all images, and then I'm gonna go here, and then I'm gonna go for the squirrel and new folder. Squirrel. Create, and then I press open. Alright, override name. I don't know. Squirrels. And export. And this way I could pretty much quit out of pure ref, and then when I go back onto it, like if I open it, right, this will be the last thing I show. But this has nothing to do with Blender. Sadly, for anybody that has been watching this mainly to learn about Blender, this is a little thing. I can go here and then load. Load recent, and then I could go to Squirrel Free Ref. And if I click on it, it will load all my pictures. That way it's faster, and I could get back onto the drawing phase tomorrow. Anyways, that'll be it. Make sure you save your work on Blender, and for me it'll be simple as clicking that. I have it saved under nature's house. Okay.